Hi everyone, it's Jung here for Hip Kit Club. Today I'm sharing a layout that I made using the January 2020 Hip Kits. I was challenged to use the main kit only and also create a monochromatic layout with one extra pop of color. I'm using this cut file that says it's 2020 with some stars, and you can find this on the Hip Kit Club website. So what I like to do when I'm challenged with a monochromatic layout is to look through the kits to see what color there is a lot of, and I chose the color blue. There is a lot of Pink Fresh Studio in this collection, which I love, and blue is my favorite color, so it worked out perfectly. I'm just picking some of the blue pattern papers and the ephemera, and I'm going to keep them handy on my desk so I don't miss any blue items. Alright, so I wanted to show you some of the cardstock in the kit. Some of the colors have this really pretty sheen on them, and so I think it's really fitting for a layout with a lot of stars and a layout about New Year's Eve, especially because we're playing with sparklers, and so I really wanted to use these cardstock pieces. So I'm going to show you how I back the cut file. I won't do it for every single piece because that would make this video extremely long. But I like to keep the insides of the cut file so I can trace those instead of tracing the actual cut file when I can. And I just find that sometimes when I trace the actual cut file, I leave pencil marks, and when I try to erase it and it's a delicate cut file, then I end up ripping it. So yeah, if I can, I keep the inner pieces. So for this star, I went ahead and traced around it and then cut it out, and now I'm gluing it to the back of the cut file. But I figured since these shapes and the letters were pretty easy to cut out, I didn't need to trace it. I would just hold the inside pieces on top of the cardstock or pattern paper like a template and just cut around it instead of having to trace and then cut. You'll see what I'm talking about here. I'm cutting out the letter I, and you see that I don't even bother to trace it this time. And I'm going to glue it to the back of this one, and it's all done. So my monochromatic layout is blue, like I said, but my pop of color is yellow, and I really wanted the 2020 to stand out, so I backed it with yellow pattern paper. And now I want to add some white sprinkles to the background, so I'm using some white, I think it's meant for calligraphy, and I also added some clear gesso and water, and I'm splashing it to the background, and that kind of ensures that the white stays white and it doesn't kind of become transparent. I'm going to splatter the white ink mixture onto my background, concentrating some of the splatters where I know my photos are going to go. And then while that's drying, I added some foam squares to the back of my layout, and once dry, I adhered the cut file to the background. I'm going to try and figure out where I want my photos to go. I usually am a scrapbooker who likes to use multiple photos on a layout. And so I have a photo of me and my husband, my 3 girls, and then I have 2 photos of them playing with sparklers, and this was New Year's Eve. And I wanted to try and get all 4 photos, but then it kind of was a little heavy, I felt. And so I definitely wanted to include these photos because I wanted you to be able to see our faces. And then I really liked that one photo that you see on the top right, and it's my 2 oldest girls, and they were trying to make a heart with their sparklers, and I did it by messing around with settings on my camera. So I am pretty sure this is where I want my photos to go. Now I'm just going to try and figure out what embellishments to add. Since the cut file is so big, I don't want to add too much. And also, if you know what my style is like, you know that I am kind of a minimal embellishment scrapbooker. I really like my negative space, and I'm just a fan of clean design. And so I'm just going through the ephemera trying to find the blue embellishments, and I do like a little pop of black because it matches the photos. And so yeah, I'm just gonna try and figure out what embellishments I want to use. I was trying to figure out where I was going to put my journaling, and so I pulled out this Pink Fresh Studio pattern paper, and there's some speech bubbles, and I decided to fussy cut them out. One of the speech bubbles says "that's awesome," and so I'm going to fussy cut that out, and there's also a few blue blank ones, and so I fussy cut those out, and I figured I could write my journaling on those. Once I had my journaling written out, I went ahead and adhered my photo with foam squares, and I attached the journaling speech bubbles with foam squares as well. Next, I'm going to adhere some of the ephemera that I picked out for this side. I'm going to use that black and white circle with a heart in it. I used a foam square to lift that up from the page. And I'm going to use this chipboard sticker. It's a blue and white camera. And I really love the thickness of this chipboard. It's not too thick. So usually I peel off half of the layers on chipboard stickers, especially ones from like crepe paper and stuff, because they're just too thick for my albums. But this Pink Fresh Studio thickness is really perfect. I'm going to go ahead and adhere my last two photos to the background using more foam squares. And then I'll go ahead and work on the ephemera that I had set aside for this side of the layout. I have a banner that says "Life is Good." And I'll use another one of those chipboard circle stickers, and this one says "Us." And I tucked it behind my photo a little bit, and I liked the way that looked, and so I decided that I wanted to tuck the other side a little bit behind my photo as well. So I pulled both of the circle stickers, or the circle ephemera, up, and I just moved them over slightly. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the banner. And then next I pulled out a few of my star punches. You can see them to the top right. And I'm using this piece of Pink Fresh Studio pattern paper to bring out some more of the pops of yellow. And so I am punching a few of those stars out. I decided that I wanted to scatter them around the layout, but I end up using only a couple. I decided it looked a little cluttered, and so I believe I used 3 yellow stars in the end, and then I also add 2 blue stars, and the blue is from the other side of the pattern paper. I'm going to fuss around with the stars a little bit, and then I will move on to the pink paisley glitter enamel dots and shapes, and I believe I add just a couple of those aqua colored ones to my layout, and I really like the extra sparkle that it adds. Next, I'm going to add the date to my layout. I went ahead and added 2 dates, December 31st, 2019 and January 1st, 2020. And I think I add a few more stars, and then this layout is done. I really love how this layout turned out. The monochromatic theme was a challenge, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. I really encourage you to give it a try. I hope you enjoyed my process video. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I will leave all the links in the info bar below. And here is a close-up of my layout all finished. I really love the shine of the cardstock especially. Again, thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye.